Hello, everyone, and welcome to Design Around the World with Perla Lichi, hosted by the High End Design Network. I'm Nicole Mahalis, and co-hosting with me today is Emily Dunn.
Hello.
As everyone knows and as everyone is here for, our guest tonight has been designing luxury residential and commercial interiors around the world since 1984 and is internationally recognized for her uniquely intelligent approach to interior design in a multicultural world.
We do have a lot of fun and exciting things to accomplish, but before we welcome Perla Lichi, we want to introduce two additional members of our panel who will be interviewing Perla with us, Alan Stein and Nancy Wirtz, who are the owners of Tanglewood Conservatories, which is an architecture and manufacturing firm specializing in the art of luxury glass architecture. So, Alan and Nancy, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to meet you, Perla.
So now, as a reminder for those of you participating live right now, be sure to keep any questions you have, jot them down, because at the end of the session, we will be opening up the lines for a live Q&A with Perla.
Great. Thank you, Emily. So let's get started. Perla, welcome. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you guys.
Great. Well, thank you for having us. Now, Perla, you have established an amazing career thus far, and, you know, we're all curious, what drew you to pursue becoming an interior designer?
Well, I love this one. It was destiny. I became an interior designer because of destiny, believe it or not. You know how things happen in life. When I was young, I wanted to be a fashion designer. Okay, I was ready to go to fashion design school. However, when I was in school, in high school, you know, teenager, always doing the art classes and all the above, my art teacher, when I was a senior, said, okay, everybody in the class, this is art class, by the way, who wants to enter this contest? And it was at the time a new school called the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale, or the Art Institute, okay? You get to enter a contest. The class got to enter this contest because you get to use it as your final grade instead of taking your final exam. So, of course, everybody wants to do that instead of going to final exams, right? So they had four options. One of them was fashion design, which was the one I was going to go for. The other one was, at the time, photography. The other one was ad design. And then the other one was interior design. So when I read the criteria, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm going to do the interior design. That looks like an easy A. Because I had already taken drafting, and then, you know, I read the criteria. I can do a perspective. So I went ahead. I did the project. I turned it in. I got my 8. I didn't even have to go to the final exam. Summer came, you know. Everybody's having their summer, whatever. In those days, this is 1981. I get a phone call, landline. I answer the phone. So they asked me, is Perla there? Oh, this is Perla. Well, I'm calling you from the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale to let you know that you won the full tuition scholarship. What? Long story short, that's why I said it was destiny. Free college. I got the scholarship to go to the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale for the interior design program. So there I go. Complete interior design, got my degree, and here I am 39 years later. It was 1981. Here we are 39 years later. So that's my story. Destiny. I didn't choose interior design. It chose me. My parents were thrilled because they didn't have to pay for college, okay, by the way.
I'm sure they loved that, but man.
Oh, yeah, they were thrilled.
Thank goodness for destiny.
Oh, yeah. I believe in that, by the way.
So Perla, you know, you starting out as a young woman in business, what advice do you have for other young women in business, pursuing business?
Well, for sure, follow your dreams, and for sure, let destiny take you to where it's taking you, and believe in it. But absolutely follow your dreams. If you have passion for something, this is for sure for young women, and younger and older and every age. If you have that passion, follow it, feel it, and just let it be. The rest will come. That's my advice. I truly believe in that. Yeah. I'm definitely going for that, yeah. So.
Perla, I've got a question. This is Nancy.
Hey, Nancy. Yeah.
So Can you help me understand what's different designing for like different cultures? That
everything, so many things. So many things are variable for different cultures, for different people all over the world. Okay, I'll give you a few examples. Okay, when you're doing for different designs for different cultures, of course, they have different requirements. I'll give you a sense of comparisons. For sure, in different countries, they're going to have different construction techniques and different construction methods. Like, it's not going to be the same thing building a house, let's say, in South Florida, as it would be a house being built, let's say, in Kenya or in South Africa or in Dubai or in Abu Dhabi, because it's different codes, different constructions, different timing, different architecture. That's one. Weather is different. The requirements is different. Here, I will meet with a client in Florida or even in New York. You know, it's a small family of maybe 2, 3, or empty nester there. You're meeting with the mother, the father. They have 4, 5, sometimes 10 children. Well, guess what? I'm talking about, let's say, the Middle East. If you have 7, 8 children, they all get involved. Their parents live with them. Their parents get involved because they all want their own space. It's a different way of living. So it's going to be so different when I'm designing for somebody where it's a family of, let's say, 10 to 12, bigger house, than when I'm doing for somebody that is, let's say, an apartment for 2, 3 people. So there's so many different things. I mean, I could keep going with the list. So, I mean, that's for starters, okay? Their taste is different, okay? They're more formal. They're more, they stay home a lot more. Well, nowadays, lately, we've been all staying home more. So we're all using our kitchens and dining rooms more. And we're even making offices in our home. So now we get it. But in that case, for example, the Middle East, specifically the Middle East, they're not the type to go out to the restaurant every day. They stay home. They cook. They have service people that have outside kitchens. They have the outside kitchen, which is the dirty kitchen, where they have servants cook for them. And then they have the clean kitchen, which is just to make coffee and tea, you know. And it's just so different. I mean, I can keep going. So this is just some of the aspects, you know. The older son may have a whole suite with his own kitchen, his own living room, because he got married and he had a baby, you know, and then they have to plan for the next generation. But then they have the other generation from before. They have their parents also staying there. So we're talking about a lot more square footage, a lot more rooms. They also have in some cultures, like, for example, in Islam, you know, they have the ladies' living room, the men's living room. More living rooms for me to design. I love it. More rooms for me to design. You know how much fun I have? More spaces. So, you know, these are just some of the aspects. So I don't know if that kind of like answers your question. I can keep going.
That's very cool. So so Perla, so you're an architect, and you design the actual architecture of the homes as well as
I am not a licensed
structure.
architect. Yeah, no, I'm not a licensed architect where I can actually build you a structure, but I do have architectural interiors background, and I understand the interior, the architectural space. And yes, I can draw the ceilings, I can draw the walls, the sections. We can do it all. Because we're seeing the space 360 degrees. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm curious about your saying the women's living room and the men's. So what do they do in these living rooms? Do they the women have women in their living rooms? And
yes.
It has to be separated. Is that what's happening?
Yes, in that particular culture, yes. They have beautiful, beautiful soup to nuts. They love crystal chandeliers. And they love lots of sofas where they gather around 6 to 20 women, and they drink tea, coffee, lots of chocolate, and then they have this delicious, they call it bahur. It's like a incense, but it's like it comes in different forms. It's oud, like a wood, and they burn it and they smell it. And they have these oils, this exotic oil, so different. And then they put it on their abayas and they try the different smells. They're into smells and the taste. They love the dates and the chocolates and the teas and they eat. They really love to entertain. They are the most incredible hosts when you visit them. I mean, the first thing they do is they offer you drinks and teas and they love to welcome you into their home. So to them, their home is the most important thing, to look beautiful when somebody walks in. So of course they have the men's living, which I've walked into because I've designed them. So I've walked in, not while they're gathering, I don't sit with them. Obviously I never sat with them, but I've designed it for them. But for the women, I've actually joined them where we've had lunches. I've even had some where we sat on the floor, like a picnic on the floor with no furniture in that particular culture. Still gorgeous architectural details,
Yeah. So that leads me to another question. Yeah, that's really great. Thank you. That leads me to another question, and this is not for the Middle East, but it's just kind of universal. Do you find it's easier, or the differences between designing for men and for women, or for couples? I mean, what is it you prefer? What are the differences that you've seen in your career?
I find it easier designing for women. I relate to them more. I could design for men, no problem. It's more straight to the point. It's a lot, it's a lot more straight to the point. But I find it that women are a lot more emotional, okay? And in my career, I have been able to capture that emotion. Maybe it's because of the way I listen and I watch body language, with the astrology and numerology we were talking about earlier. It's not just the space and the design and the style that we're going for, but I try to watch. I try to feel the person. So with women, I find that they need that. We need that. We need that emotional part. Okay. So, and the secret of my success has been that I'm able to deliver that understanding. So for me, it's easier to design for women because I'm with it. Not to say that it's not easy to design for men. Don't get me wrong. I've done plenty of that. Okay. But that should answer your question. It's easier for me because I enjoy it more. I don't know. Okay. And couples, not a problem. But I do have one rule, and it always works. Whenever you have a couple, and this is a good advice for all those other designers and all the other professionals, when you have a couple that can't agree on something, and then this is just in general, especially in the home, if you have, let's say, the husband and the wife, and they can't agree, no matter what, always stick to the wife, period. Okay? Because at the end of the day, this is the wife. Stick to the wife. At the end of the day, she's going to get her way. That's just my advice. Later, she'll convince him. I don't know how, but she does. Okay? So if she's right or wrong, stick to her, and then later say, listen, maybe you could listen to him, but never disagree with her. That's just my advice. And always works.
That's good advice. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, Perla, I have a couple questions. When you get a new client, what's your process in getting to know that client, knowing what, their style is, what would make them happiest, and is that different from culture to culture?
Well, don't laugh at me. I ask them their birthday first. No, I'm kidding. No. Yeah, it is different. Obviously, first I need to see the floor plan, okay, because obviously I need to understand the space, okay? Number one, understanding the space and what the scope is. Once I understand that, obviously, I always ask for visuals because people are visual, okay? Especially nowadays, there's so much out there. People are always going into, on Instagram and all these different places where they get ideas and they get inspiration. So I always ask to show me, what do you like, what colors, what style. So when they show me a visual, 1, 2, 3 pictures, immediately I know my direction, at least the look, okay? And obviously take notes. And once I understand it, then obviously I will know what to suggest from that point. But space, visuals from them, because a picture speaks 1,000,000, 1,000, I don't know how many more words. And, of course, listen and take notes and just hear them out. And once I get it, then, all I can do is show them and then watch the reaction. Body language is everything. body language. Watch how they react when I'm showing them either photos of things that I've done before or sketches in front of them and see how they react. Watching their reaction also tells me a lot. And then I know my direction also. And then it just takes, it happens. It evolves.
Neat. And then the other question, now I know we talked about this a little bit pre-show, but I want to ask you again and kind of have you go over it again for everybody to hear. Out of, all of the work that you've done across, what I think it is, 83 different countries, what are some of your favorites and why?
I have a lot of favorites, okay, and all for different reasons, okay? So like I told you earlier, you can ask me what's your favorite for the people. Of course, I can choose with one hand maybe 5 different families, When you start going through the photos, I'll tell you, what I like about that one and, and why. What's my favorite design and why? Because maybe I relate to it myself where I can say, oh, my God, I can move into here because that's so like more me. Yeah, I'm going to do that because that's more my taste. Listen, I may like a certain color. If I like purple and fuchsia, it doesn't mean that I'm going to give that to my client, okay? So the challenge of a designer is taking your own personal taste and separating that and try to get yourself into their taste, into their needs. And put it together as a professional with, obviously with good design, balance, proportion, and, well balanced with all the elements and everything else. And when I say elements, it's because I do always tie in some feng shui within my design, so subconsciously, because I think that's important. So, what would be my favorite? Oh my God, I can name quite a few for different reasons. So I don't know. I guess when you see some visuals, I could tell you why this one and why that one.
Do you have one that you want pulled up on the screen?
Well, let's look at the Star Island. And why I like that one so much. This particular house, we designed it from when it's in Star Island. It's right 2 doors down from Gloria Esteban. It's like on a lot on the water. And we designed this together with the architect from the minute the first block was laid on it used to be an older house. It was knocked down. I started talking to the clients even when they had the older home. Before they knocked down the old home, they brought it down to the bare lot and then started over with the new design. And she always wanted her Moroccan fountain. That was her thing. I want my Moroccan-style fountain in the middle of the house, and it's kind of like I call it piazza effect. And everything revolves around this fountain. It's kind of like one of those floor plans, like piazza with everything around it. And they went back and forth where she wanted it open and he wanted it closed. So we ended up closing it with the atrium-style glass. You guys can relate to this. Look, see the glass up there? Okay? So it ended up being closed because it is Florida. It is Miami, and we do get a lot of rain, and we do get hurricanes. So it was a smart decision to close it. You still see the sky. It's air-conditioned space. She got what she wanted, okay? It's all AC. You still got the second floor with all the bedrooms. Deep within it, because it was a very deep lot, you have this magnificent double staircase. You'll see it. And then everything revolves around this beautiful Moroccan fountain. The picture you just passed, go back a little bit. She wanted 2 Moroccan Davids in the entrance. When you walk through the door, she wanted Moroccan beds as you walk in. We actually designed these Moroccan beds. They're actual mashrabia wood and actual mattresses like Moroccan style with Moroccan fabrics. And then we carved the actual drywall with Venetian plaster. And even you see the grills? They're called mashrabia. They're like all hand done. We had those made in Indonesia and shipped it. And all LED lighting and whatnot. This was done in 2011. LED was just coming in real strong. And then we even hit the air conditioning grills behind it and everything. So we integrated everything within that. So that was her wish. She wanted her Moroccan beds. She got them. And she wanted her Moroccan fountains. She got them. But throughout this whole house, you're going to see different rooms with different flavors as you walk through the house. The growing ceilings. Like here's the living room. You could see she wanted a little bit more cozy, with a fireplace. We did the beam ceiling with the wood. And then all the art you see on the wall were her own personal art that we incorporated by the room, on each room. So, I love this house because, each room was kind of like up to the last little pillow. And with her art collection that she had and just the grandness of the architecture, and I could live here because it has all that history,
Mhm.
It's beautiful.
That's the double staircase at the. And now he wanted his pub. That was his pub. That was his room. See, he wanted his bar with his pool table. You don't really see it here, but he had this huge cave, like wine room, off to that room. Kitchen, very light and airy. So, I mean, not to say that I don't like all the others, don't get me wrong, but for me to move into one of these homes, I would move into this one, probably because of the art collection, probably because of the combination of styles in every room. You'll notice each room has its own little unique personality. And it was really well thought out. The space was really well thought out, We worked on the layout with the architect from day one. It wasn't like, okay, here's the floor plan, design it, detail it. We worked on the layout. And the location is great. It's Star Island. You see every cruise ship, I'll come over now, So I would say from these, this would be the one. Yeah.
Really beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, this is a guest bedroom. She wanted each guest bedroom unique. So one we did with a toile. Then you'll see another one we did with different, colors for different. She has like 4 guest bedrooms in this house. It's a couple. This is one couple living in this 27,000 square feet house. One couple with 3 doggies. Okay? American. Okay? No, she's originally from Colombia, but they are here. This is Miami, Star Island. Now, this is an interesting room. This is the dining room. There's 3 5x5, 60 inches by 60 inches, marquetry tables put together as one long table, okay? But we can also separate them as like, when you do it in the restaurant, 3 separate ones, but then we can also put them together as one. But when you separate them, the chandeliers also line up. So that was one thing that she wanted. Now the doors, if you notice the doors, on one side, these mahogany doors, they're arched, but on the side of the dining room, they have more of that little Italian-esque style, with the carving. But then from the outside, they look more Moroccan because they're facing the Moroccan piazza, So we were able to carve the doors differently from one side and from the other because each side of the door follows the theme of each room. Things like that makes it custom. It's not just your stock door. So I think that's important, in a custom home, that you're able to do things like that. This is his office. Everything was paneled, cladded with mahogany.
Beautiful.
See, you can see the side of the door on this side, that arch door. You can see the carving. There's more of the Moroccan flavor to go with the flavor of the rest of the gallery.
So then, Perla, what would you, in comparison to this house, what would be something that looks totally different but has that same level of custom of some of the projects you've had selected here?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
So we just went through the Star Island project, and it's so bright and airy, and it has key specific features. But what about like the job you did in South Africa or the Abu Dhabi project?
Let's look at South Africa. Yeah, let's look at South Africa. Let's look at that. Okay, this particular house was also totally that's Kenya. We can look at that. Now, this house in Kenya was for a couple with 2 children. Okay, and obviously the house here, the ceilings are not high, so you're dealing with height restriction. Even though it's a, when I came into this project, the house was already built what we call a black shell. It was concrete walls, concrete block walls, and concrete interior walls. They built everything concrete. There's no drywall partitions there. Everything's concrete in, concrete out. Windows were already laid out. It was concrete, no flooring, no nothing. So what I did was take the concrete shell and detailed it. So I had height restrictions. So, for example, when you look at this master bedroom, look at the height of the ceiling. For such a grand space, we're dealing with a 10-foot ceiling. Now, this is a house that's 28,000 square feet, but yet you have a ceiling that's only 10 feet high. You don't have the luxury of raising the ceiling because already the roof is there, where you can do something, minimum 12, 14 feet high for such a mansion like this. So I played with the ceilings because already the air conditioning was already ran, and you're dealing with concrete ceilings. I played with trim and moldings. See what was done there? And then we just ornamented the ceiling. So what we did there was just fit it out with details, trims, woodwork, and a lot of detail. These people wanted heavy. If you go through the photos, you will see where they said to me, I want this is the girls' room. By the way, they were heavily into feng shui. Their number one requirement was where the bed was facing, okay, based on their birthday. So this was their daughter, who was 13 at the time. So her bed had to face southwest. So you see how the bed had to be, see the window behind it? So there's no wall for the bed. So I had to come out with something interesting where I created a back panel headboard with glass with light, because then you would be wasting. You can't put that in front of the window. So I created a sitting room behind it and created a glass panel headboard. So that made her wall, but it's not really a wall. It became a semi-divider, which is a headboard with glass, and then gave her a sitting room behind her, so she's facing the way she's supposed to face based on her feng shui birth. Little things like that. That's part of their culture. They wanted that. So their space planning was had to be integrated from day one on how everything was. Obviously, everybody wanted a home theater. In those days, they still had the projector. That's their game room. Now you can see the heavy ornamentation here. These walls are all concrete. We were able to cut through the concrete because everything was black. I opened up the space by adding some inserts of glass. So we actually went in there with cutting out the concrete and inserting those glass inserts, so everything is not just closed up. Added medallions of mosaic. See how low the ceiling is? So what we did is we detailed it out with some LED light domes, different levels. Little things like that, And when you have the high restriction, all you can do is add more, I'm going to say, levels and details on ceilings. There's a dining room in there that I want to discuss with you because he's a VIP guy. This is right on the street where the embassies are in Kenya, in Nairobi. Okay? He wanted to sit. Here's her living room. This is her living room. They wanted it to be very ornate. You can see how ornate, and she wanted pastels. She got it. Also a very low ceiling, but yet we ornamented the ceiling with silver leaf, so when the light reflects metallic, it opens it up. So it doesn't look as low with the effect with the lighting. So, okay, I'll show you the dining room. He wanted 24 people, okay, indoor pool. Okay, see this table? Go one more. So there's a square room with a low ceiling. So how do you fit 24 people in a room, in a dining room table? So if you go to the next picture, you may see the idea better, how we came up with it. Maybe the next one. So you can't just do a long table. Imagine an X, okay? So you have 5 chairs on the X on one side, 5 chairs on the other X, 5 chairs on the other side of the X, and 5 on the other, that's 20, and then 4 at each end of the X. So I designed this X table with the X dome ceiling as well. See the X, part of the X?
Yeah.
So 24 chairs going all around a big X. And this was made in 5 pieces and shipped and put together on site. And it's a combination of wood, mirror. And then we designed the ceiling around the table. And then we gave it different levels and different lighting to give it the effect of that. But that's what the requirements were based on the given space. So that particular culture wanted 24 people in one dining room. So there's challenges, okay? You can't go buy a dining room set to fit 24 people to fit in a square room, so you got to come out with ideas out of nowhere. I came out with that one at night while I'm like, wait a minute. I snapped. I don't know, it had to be midnight, and I'm trying to fall asleep, and wait a minute, I saw an X, and I sketched it out on my night table, and the next morning I developed it. No, seriously, this is how these things come out of nowhere. When you just think about it, and then they come, Yeah. So I think the next one shows a little bit more. I don't know if is that a two. Oh, yeah, there's two pictures there. Okay. There it is. You see the full X.
Mhm.
He got his 24 people.
Wow.
Do you know anybody here in Florida that wants to sit 24 people in one dining room?
I'm an only child. I couldn't imagine.
We can do an S. I thought about it later. We can also do an S. We did an S where with like a serpentine, like a big S, we could do that. There's always a way. There's always a way. Space planning. Yeah.
So you talked about you getting your inspirations, just sometimes they come to you in the middle of the night. So really, when you approach a project, what's involved in planning this interior space? I mean, once you map it out, you have a conversation with the client, where do you find inspiration?
Well, I don't know. It comes, okay, but then obviously there's a team effort. I mean, I'm not doing this by myself. I'm not, an octopus doing it all by myself. I have a great team. Yes, the concepts, the ideas, it starts, by being inspired by, by seeing different things, and then you put your own twist to them, and then you sketch them. I like to sketch things. I call myself a Renaissance person because I like to do everything, sketch it by hand. I sketch it out. I take my big roll of tracing paper. I sketch it out by hand. And then I sit with my team. I have my AutoCAD department, and then we'll develop it to scale. We'll put it on the plan. We'll develop it until it fits right, until it looks right. Pull samples together, put fabrics. So put it all together until it gets to that point. I have a team that works with me closely. But, yeah, it just, I don't know how to explain it. It's like an artist taking a canvas. They start with the first stroke, with the first pencil line, okay, and then you just keep going. That's how I start. I take my paper and I start with lines and just let it flow, and then it's a connection between my brain and my hand and then it goes on to the team and then the team and then back and forth to the client. Obviously, the client is big integral part of it because they have to inspire me to get it to that point because they're telling me things that makes me, oh yeah, that would be great, and they are a big part of it too. Because it's for them. It's for them. It's not always the same cookie cutting. And that's what makes it so interesting, that I'm always dealing with different people, different places, different parts of the world, different people that will bring me different things that they thought of that's going to make my brain snap to something new also and take it from there, It's like a never-ending story. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. It's a domino effect.
Oh,
Does that make
yeah.
sense?
No, I know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, Perla, I'm wondering what's to come next in your career. You have such a big, fun personality. I mean, have you ever thought about any kind of TV show or courses or anything, or what's next for you and your team?
Oh, yeah, TV show. I'm ready for my TV show. I would like, and this is what I want to do next, and I'm working on it. I want to have not a reality show, because that's already out there. I don't want a reality show. I'm planning to do a TV show with the proper sponsors, the proper lines, the proper, I'm going to call it, products. There's so many products out there, but people don't know how to use the products. They don't know how to integrate them with their homes, with their designs. I know how to, because I know all the different products and how they can be integrated and how they can be used within their spaces, okay? So my idea is to come up with different shows that actually educates people, okay? There's always people that want to do things on their own. They're not all going to go out there and hire a designer. They're not all going to go out there. There's a lot of people that like to do it on their own, that enjoy doing this. because it's, you know, I always say that the journey is as much fun as the final destination. Doing it is just as fun as getting it done and getting it completed. And like I'm having fun doing it. There's so many people out there that enjoy doing their own home and designing and doing. But being in this business for 39 years, I know what can be done. I know the products that are out there. I know what can be used with what. I know how it can be done. So for me to educate the people out there with the products and showing them tips and tricks and ideas and things that people will look at it, but it will be not like a teacher, okay, student, do this. No, not in the blackboard like the old days. It will be something fun that people can get like inspired to do. Oh my God, I gotta go do that. You know, make it fun. I've actually created some quick little 3-4 minute little videos. You're welcome to go look at it on my YouTube channel. I did one that was a series of 6. It was like renovating and glamorizing tips. And I did a whole thing about mirrors, how to use mirrors, a whole thing about space planning, a whole thing about feature walls, you know, little tips that make such a difference, okay? My idea is to do things about kitchens, things about bathrooms, remodel. There's just so much out there to talk about that, I mean, I need like 3 hours with you guys here. I'm sure people are like, what time is it? When is she going to shut up? No, I can keep going. There's just so much out there to talk about, you know? And when you're showing people visuals and you're showing them how and they see it, they're going to want to do it. They're going to want to go out there and try it. So why not have somebody teach them and show them how to? I mean, wouldn't you want to watch that? I would. I would have liked to watch that. I didn't watch it. I just learned myself doing it, you know, trial and error.
Yeah.
You know? So that would be my next goal, you know. I mean, not that I'm a teacher or anything, but, yeah, I would like to inspire, yes, for sure. That's my next goal.
Oh, I love that.
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. That would be amazing.
Let's do it. We'll have fun doing it. So that's
and I know, and, you know, a big thing with, I know it's a big question, especially in just home and commercial work in general, is, you know, how does an interior designer partner with the architect or the builder on the project? I mean, how do you guys, you know, coordinate and get things done? The best way to do that.
Yeah. Oh, all the time. It's a team effort. I call it the dream team. The architect, the general contractor or builder, and the interior designer is the dream team, especially when it comes to building something or even renovating or whatever. Because, look, I always make a joke, okay? The architects, they know the codes, they know how to build it, they got to structurally do it all, you know. But the interior designer knows the lifestyle. They know how to touch and feel. They know the inside space. They know the interior. They know how people live, the lifestyle, which has a lot to do with everyday life, a lot on a different level than what the architect is. You know, we were just talking with an architect earlier. We're doing a commercial project, and they put all these windows because they look so great on the outside elevation. But yet, when the interior designer is doing the interiors, you got all these windows, and then you have no wall for the bed, for the bedroom. Mm-hmm. You can't put a bed in front of all these windows. So they got to work together as a team. And then obviously the builder, because, you know, budgeting and planning. And so if you get all three minds together from day one, the owner is going to get the best of all the worlds out there from day one. You're going to save time, effort, money, and you're going to get the best design from day one. You're going to save a lot of erasers, a lot of everything, because you're planning it right from day one. So we do it all the time. So it's definitely a good association. Totally guaranteed.
I think it makes great sense.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Perla, this has been absolutely fascinating, and I mean, I'm sure I would love to listen to this for another 2 hours, and you could keep going, but I would like to open the line up now for Q&A.
Love it. Let's go for it.
So if anybody has any questions that you've come up with during this, we are going to be unmuting everybody and opening up the line. So feel free to ask Perla any questions.
Carla, this is Ulrich. I found particularly intriguing how you at some point talked about that the architects often design buildings from the outside. And in the reality, of course, people are inside, and the house from the inside is more important to them. How do you kind of find a compromise between the aesthetics from the outside and the utility and the aesthetics from the inside?
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a good question. I'm not going to say that the architect doesn't think about the inside too. I mean, they do. Obviously, they're thinking the space, they're thinking the wall partitions, the layout, the space planning of all of the above. But sometimes they're not thinking lifestyle as much as the interior designer is, the emotional, the cultural aspects in certain cases. It just depends. They're not thinking actual furniture. They're not thinking artwork. They're not going that deep into it like we do as designers, okay? So sometimes when you're working as a team, if you can integrate all of it from the beginning and plan both the exterior and the interior and go deeper into it, it's better. You know what I'm saying? So the architects, like for example, when it's I'm going to say houses that look beautiful on the outside, because the elevations are very important, okay, because that's what shows from the outside. But they may not be thinking in certain areas of the house how the people are living in it, how they're using the space, because it may not be, you know what I'm saying? So if you can have the architect and the designer come to terms from the beginning and ahead of time plan it, why not? Better for the client, don't you think? So that's why I mentioned that. Yeah, I think it's a good idea if possible. If not, there's always a way to work around it. We've done it many times. I've done it where this is a typical example, the bed wall. Okay, I've had it where a bedroom, let's say people want a king-size bed or a queen-size bed, but there was no bed wall. You don't want to it's bad feng shui to put a bed in front of a window. So what did we do? We left the window from the outside because we did not want to compromise the exterior elevation. When they had so many windows already, we weren't going to lose the light coming through, through the windows. So we went and did drywall, Dura rock from the interior, went ahead and finished it from inside. Okay, so from the outside you see the window, just the way it was before, put a light in between, and just finish the wall from the inside, and you don't even know the window is there from inside, but yet from the outside it's there. And we're able to do the whole feature wall with wallpaper and everything from the inside. So they got everything that they wanted. We did that after. This is just one example. There's always ways around it. I'm not saying there isn't, okay? But if you can avoid it from the beginning and have the architect and the designer and the builder work together as a dream team, like I call it, why not? That's all I'm saying. Does that answer your question?
Sure. Thank you.
Good. Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, Perla, this is a kind of a business question.
Sure.
Nancy. Yeah. So in your business, you've been doing this for 39 years.
I started when I was 3. Don't let that fool you. No. I started very young, okay? No, I'm kidding. So sorry about that. I had to throw that one in, but okay, yeah. Go ahead.
In kindergarten.
Kindergarten, right. There you go.
Kindergarten, right about then, yeah. Go ahead.
So
sorry, honey.
So what challenges have you what is your biggest challenge as a designer in your business?
Right now? Obviously, life is full of challenges, okay? And my personality, being an Aries, okay, we didn't even talk about the astrology. That's a whole other subject, okay? I thrive on challenges. But right now, my biggest challenge, okay, if I had to say, would be the accessibility out there of what's out there online. Because unfortunately, a lot of people don't know the difference anymore because there's so much out there on the internet, okay? So much out there. Like if you go to Instagram, there's so much out there posting and photos of this and photos of that, and then you have all these different e-commerces. You don't even know who's doing what. You don't know if you look at a photo of a room and then you have this person posting that photo. You don't know if that photo, where that came from, and they're saying they're designers. You don't know if that person is really the designer of that photo, or if they just took that photo from somewhere else and they just put it on their page, and you don't know if that's really their intellectual property. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a big challenge right now, because I'm old school. I know the value of intellectual property. I've designed over 5,000 homes in my career. I value my intellectual property, my photography that's been, whatever designs that I've done. If I saw my photo of one of my designs in somebody else's page, and it's happened many times, and they put their name on it, that would not be good. You know what I'm saying? So that's a challenge right now. A lot of people don't know who's doing what. They don't know if it's somebody right out of school and you saw a photo of a beautiful room, you don't know if that person really did it. So somebody's going to go and hire them, but you don't know if they did it. That's a challenge right now, because the intellectual property is not as monitored as it used to be, as to where you used to, let's say, put an ad on Architectural Digest where it was that easily taken from the real owner. So I don't know if that answers your question.
So what have you done? I mean, that's not going away, right? We've had this.
Oh, I know issue. It's not.
Yeah.
Well,
so what have you? How do you? Yeah. I mean, you seem to be doing.
I'm not.
Yeah.
In my case, I'm not doing anything. Sometimes we watermark the photos. It doesn't matter. In my case, people know me. They know my work. I don't do it anymore because you can't control the internet anymore. It's very difficult to control the internet. It's a challenge, but at this point, I could spend my whole life looking to see if anybody's using my photos. It's just not. I'm not focused on that. I'm focusing on creating new spaces.
You told a story earlier.
Myself. Yeah.
You told a story earlier. I think it was South African project where the 14-year-old went online. He found you.
He did. That was in 2005. He found the website.
Yeah. So, there's good and bad, right? That comes with.
There is good and bad. Yeah. He did. He did find me. There is good and bad. There is good and bad. Like anything in life.
Yeah.
Yin yang. There's always the black and the white, the up and the down, the sweet and the sour. That's just life. Yeah. But since that was the question, was a challenge. It is a challenge, And
you also inspire each other. You also inspire each other. That's also important,
well,
right?
Yeah,
I mean,
of course. Inspiration is look, I'm inspired by the old masters. I'm inspired by all that beautiful architecture all over Europe. Think about it. I didn't invent a canthus sleeve. I didn't invent the Medusa head. I didn't invent the Corinthian columns. Where did those come from? They came from before. So everything inspires everybody. It's how you put your own twist that matters. How you create your own look that matters. How you put it together that matters. Absolutely. It's how you tie it all together, how you put it, you create your own signature style. So, there's...
I have another question for you regarding... When in my own pursuits of interior design, I often find out that I have to live somewhere in a room for quite a while to see the right arrangements, where I would like to put something, how it relates to windows, the artwork. It takes me a while for myself. How do you do this for your clients and get into their heads, basically, or their hearts, maybe?
Oh, well, you hit it right on the nail, because you're saying this is for yourself, right?
Yep.
Now, there's a big difference when you're designing for yourself than when you're designing for a client, okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Permanent, because one thing is, as a professional, look, it's like a doctor, okay? A doctor sees patients every day. They know the rules. They know what it is. They know everything. They know what medicine. But imagine a doctor having to take care of his own wife. It's not going to be the same. It's emotional. Wait a minute. Hold on. It's the same thing with interior designer. Me, don't get me wrong. I know what I like, but my house changes all the time. Okay, because new products come out. I saw a new piece of art, so I'm always changing my house. Still within my style that I like. But when you're talking about your own decisions, your own style, your own home, your own space, of course, it's going to be a decision that you got to make. So it's going to be different than when you have a career and it's your job, it's your career, and you do it all the time, and it's You're not emotionally attached 100%, and it's kind of like different that it's your job, it's your career. In my case, yes, I get emotional, I get attached, and yes, I do, but I still know the difference between what fits, what doesn't fit, what works, what doesn't work. The space planning, I know I know proportion, I know sizes, I know stuff, and my job is to recommend what's right based on what I know about that particular person in that particular space at the time. So, of course, I'm going to know how to make a decision and suggest it to them. At the end of the day, it's going to be the client's decision of what they're going to agree on.
This is why I couldn't be an interior designer, because I have very strong opinions what looks
well, that's
good and what
okay.
doesn't.
So what do you do? What do you do?
I'm a doctor.
Okay, well, there you go. So I'll come to you for that, and you come to me for that, because I could never be a doctor, okay? Because I see blood and I pass out, okay? I pass out. Oh, no. I get it. So it makes sense. Okay? So makes sense. There you go.
Does anybody else have any other
Love
questions?
I have a question, Perla. It's Sylvia.
Sylvia, my dear, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Wonderful.
Actually, I wanted to ask about the, I follow your work, and it's wonderful.
Thank you.
With regard to two-way mirrors that you design for public places and venues, and do you have to disclose what are the laws on that? I know you wouldn't do that in like the bedrooms or the bathrooms and things like that, but do you have to disclose that you have a two-way mirror if they're in public spaces? Is there laws on that? For example, I have an idea in which I have a formal dining room, as you know, I'm working on, and I wanted to do a two-way mirror so that it would open up the kitchen, and the staff can also see the dining room and the beauty, out with the garden and the windows. Do you have to disclose to your guests that that's a two-way mirror?
In a public space?
Mm-hmm. Well, when you have a formal dining room and you have, at the resort.
In a two-way mirror, that I have to look about. I will have to look that one up. I don't know about the public space. That's interesting. That's a really good question. I know I've done the two-way mirror, as you know, in areas where I think it's a great idea, where you're reflecting something beautiful from one side.
Well, I got the idea from you on one of your latest videos on that, and I thought, well, that would be really a great idea to, because, when you're working, for the staff too, because you talked about being able to see through and opening it up and see through the beauty of the ocean, remember?
Right,
and
right.
The garden design off for the dining room, and I thought, well, that would be for two reasons. One, having it for the kitchen to open that up and the staff to be able to see out and see the beauty, but also to be very observant to the needs of the guests.
Yeah, I don't believe you do, but I could check. I don't believe you do, but I can check. Okay, and if you do, I will do it in a very very small way, so that it's just there, so it doesn't, It's an interesting question. I'm going to look into that.
Okay.
Interesting question. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Good
Thank
question.
you.
Absolutely, pleasure.
Love
pleasure.
you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for everything.
Do we have any other questions before we wrap this up?
I have a question.
Sure.
This is Jorge. Perla,
thank
you for your insights and your sharing your experience and your travels.
Anytime.
My question is, you started saying, or somebody started saying earlier, about being inside the home all around the world more than what we thought about prior years. Then have you designed like more, let's just call it Silicon Valley engineers or IT people, more thinking about their home in a way to have a way to understand, not understand, but to design more their capabilities, software, ideas, whatever?
Well, Wait. Design software like computer stuff?
No.
What do you mean?
No, to have an office in home or office area inside the home.
Oh, my God, I'm getting so many requests for that lately, especially with this coronavirus. Oh, so many. A lot of people are coming lately because, obviously with the situation, are turning an extra bedroom into an office at home, okay? And this is the trend right now because of what's going on, and it's not a problem. It's easily done. So I don't know if that's your question or not, but yes, we're getting quite a bit of that. And
yeah, does it make a big difference? Yeah, if it is an engineer, an accountant, a doctor, a designer.
Of course, it makes it. Obviously, every profession has its needs. Okay, so depending on the size of the room that you want to convert into the office, that will dictate something. Depending on what you want to accomplish in that office, is it just you working? Is it a partner's desk? Like I've had a requirement where it had to be husband and wife, where it would be a partner's desk. Do you need a lot of filing, or is it just a laptop? Is it a big computer? Do you need a printer? Do you need shredder? Do you need all these things come into place? Once I understand what it is that you need in this particular space done, obviously all of that gets integrated into the design. Obviously budget. Do you want something where it's all built in? Do you want laminate? Do you want wood? Do you want modern? Do you want it to be old world? So many different things. Okay? Absolutely. Doing a lot of that right now. So
is it happening right now?
It started happening the past 6 weeks, yes. Request for it, for sure. Where do you live?
In San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely happening here in Florida. The people that, have requested me here quite a bit, so I'm probably there too. So for sure it's happening. Different professionals.
Thank you.
So, my pleasure. Anybody else?
All right. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay.
Perla,
go ahead.
Sorry, Perla. I have one last question for you.
Sure.
As we're wrapping up the last 2 minutes here, for those looking to learn more about you, your work, or interior designers, what resources do you recommend people to go to learn more about multicultural design, to educate themselves, and about your work?
Well, about my work, obviously, there is the Perla Lichi YouTube channel. There's all kinds of fun videos. There's perlalichi.com. Obviously, my website has different things that we've done. I've published 6 books. We can order. You can, if you want books, we'll be happy to send you the books. I don't know. I mean, you tell me. I don't know. You know more about it. It's just as far as multicultural design, you can Google ideas on different cultures. Depending on what culture you want to know about, just Google it and just research it and just find out. I found out just by going and doing it. It just happened that I ended up that way. Like I said, destiny took me that way. But if you're interested about it, I would just start looking and learning about it, and little by little get yourself, familiar with it. But
Great. Okay.
Yeah. So
Great,
that's
thank
what
you.
I would. No, my pleasure. I had fun doing this. This was great. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you, Perla.
Thank you, everybody, for being such great listeners. And I'm sorry I just keep talking and talking and talking. I get excited and I just go and I don't realize I'm just talking. But I hope you guys got something out of it. Huh?
I have a quick question before you close. This is Sylvia again.
Sure.
Is this video? I had to call in and I was a little late because I had a schedule conflict here. I want to know if this is going to be archived somewhere. Are you going to have the availability for this to be on your, so that you can share on your website or on the website of the High-End Design?
Oh, this was recorded, right? So I believe
yes,
from the
this
call.
is being recorded.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
yeah, I'll make sure.
Okay, wonderful.
I'll make sure Sylvia gets it. Sylvia, why don't you introduce yourself? I want people to know who Sylvia is also. I would like Sylvia to introduce herself and how she knows. Please.
Thank you. I'll do that quickly. Well, thank
Absolutely.
you. I have a heart for youth and teens in crisis, and I love children, and I work really hard to create profit centers for supporting an arts foundation. I'm a singer that is signed in Nashville. I have a 67-piece orchestra, and I have a society as well. We do ultra-luxury hospitality, world-class entertainment, grand cuisine, high fashion, and high luxury goods. And basically, I am blessed to have a platform, and I work with talent that are similar to what you have here, which is wonderful. She's a legend. I don't know if you know that. Perla, you're wonderful. I learned about Perla while I started researching online, actually, but I was going through a professional website, and I saw some of the most beautiful marble flooring. And so I basically have a heart to help youth and teens in crisis, and my life has just burgeoned to a point in which I use my talent to create private centers. I don't do charity, not that that's not a bad thing. And so I have a society and working on a few projects in which I develop girls' homes as well as venues for my society. So that's what I do, and it's a private club for women. And I love Perla. She's wonderful, and I'm very blessed to have this opportunity to learn from her. Did you talk about your institute?
Well, that's why I want to mention that Sylvia took my course, the Perla Lichi Institute, and she got her diploma in the Perla Lichi Institute.
Oh my gosh, I highly recommend that.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and thank you for Sylvia. Thank you for being here and supporting, and really means a lot to me. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, yes, you're beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and thank you everybody for everything.
Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Perla, and thank you everybody for attending.
Have a blessed night.
Have a good night. And if you
right.
have any other questions that you come up with, you can email Nicole and I, and we can try to get them over to Perla and see if we can get them answered for you. Have a good night, everyone.